What's up, everybody? Captain Let's Dance here. I'm back with another set review, this time in anticipation of the Ahsoka show. Starting on Tuesday is a non-Ahsoka related set. This is Superstar Destroyer, the Executor, set number 75356, coming in at 630 pieces. This was listed as out of stock on lego.com for a while, finally became available, so here it is. Can't wait to get this bad boy open. Looking at the box art, it does have this, they're going with the 18 plus set, the all black design. It does look a little more mature for a more mature audience. So we've got the Star Destroyer right there with those two plates, one with the name on it and one with the 40th anniversary for Return of the Jedi. Of course, the big boy right there, and two flanking Star Destroyers for scale. Cool. What I really like is on the side of the box here, we have this just vertical view of the Executor. It looks really nice, real clean lines, really shows off that dorsal view. Looking at the back, just kind of a different angle for the Star Destroyer, looking at it from behind, and then there's a scale schematic there, and then a picture from Return of the Jedi. You can see the comparison of the actual model and the Lego model, and with the Star Destroyer in the background, kind of for scale. I get what they were going for here. It probably would have been better to do an Empire Strikes Back image, but that wouldn't fit with the 40th anniversary. More on that later. But overall, real cool box art design. I like the black greebling on it. They're really, as I've said before, they're doing good work with their 18 plus line and making the boxes a little less toy centric and making it seem more like a display piece. And we all know how I feel about that. Love some displayability. Was really excited when this guy came out, and really excited to bust her open. So let's see what we got. All right, so opening this bad boy up, take a look at this. They've been doing actual size, and normally there'd be a minifig here. This set does not come with any minifigs, so instead they have just a angled 2x1 tile listing actual size. Does anyone out there know why they do this? With the minifigs, it kind of makes sense, even though they are all generally the same size. But with the Lego pieces that are all very standardized, what is the purpose of that? Unless you were trying to discern scale from looking at this, saying, well, this could be 3 feet long. I have no idea how long is one stud. I guess that makes sense. Is this just a Lego standard that I've missed? Or someone tell me why that exists? Let me know in the comments. But so here we are. There's a pretty decent sized sticker sheet. I really like this kind of slate blue gray color that they used for the background. It fits the aesthetic. Some interesting pink pieces in there. Can't wait to get into this guy. Looks like some making of behind the scenes stuff. There's a little notice about sustainability and going to those paper bags. Huge fan of that. I think that's a long time overdue, and I'm here for it. The plastic bags are just not sustainable in every definition of the word. Info on the Executor herself. Don't call it Executor. The dark side is in the details. Okay, brick separator, how to use that, and then we get right into it. Cool. So let's see how many bags we got here. We're still using plastic for now, it seems. Looks like 8 big old plastic bags, a lot of gray, a lot of black, not a whole lot of color here, the aforementioned pink, but yeah, so let's dive in and start the build. All right, so mid-build here, I want to point out this really cool technique that they have of these 2x2 hinge pieces that are, and I showed earlier that it's all plates underneath this, so none of these are attached except for here on this the swinging piece here, and then again duplicated here. So they're just attached at the end, not throughout to the actual like structure. But look at that angle. Like that's how they get that really light slope for the Star Destroyer to get that awesome angle perfectly. And it's so solid. Like they're in there, even though they're just resting on plates, remember, except for here, and then on the opposing sides. It's so solid, and it feels just like, what a nice angle. I just thought that was a really cool build technique and wanted to share that. So at this point, I have to call out the little Easter egg here. If you didn't already know, we've got these 7 stacks of 1x1 rounded studs that are covered in the superstructure of the ship. They're just kind of mid-build here and are not going to be seen from the outside, but eagle-eyed viewers would know that this is, of course, representative of the scene with the bounty hunters on the Executor bridge from Empire Strikes Back, not Return of the Jedi, which this is the anniversary build of, but regardless, we've got the studs. There's Darth Vader in front. This would be Boba Fett. I would assume that this is IG-88 and Dengar, and then over here, Bosk, Zuckuss, and Forlom here. So the 6 bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back, really cool little Easter egg. Love to see this in Star Wars. Just, you know, a fun little detail that I'd love to see more of going forward. Yeah, so that's it. Let's keep on building. And here we are. Here she is. The Executor, looking great. First thoughts right away, if you want to jump to the good stuff, is I love it. I think it looks awesome. I think there's no wrong way to display it. I think it's a complete win for me. Now, as we get into the nitty-gritty here, I love this MIDI scale around $100 thing that we have going on. This fits right in with the 18 plus line, like the dioramas, like the Nebulon B that was for the San Diego Comic-Con. Having these original trilogy adult-focused displayable sets for around that price point of around $100. This is $70 in the US. I think is a great move. You know how I feel about displayability versus play sets. I really like this direction. I really like this price point. Love the size. It's not as imposing as getting like the UCS Star Destroyer, Millennium Falcon, or the old Super Star Destroyer that you're going to need to come up with some kind of display case for. This is perfect. Fits right on your desk. It's exactly, you know, that's what it's intended for. It's supposed to sit on your desk of an adult who's going to, you know, has nostalgia for the original trilogy. Not to say kids can't build this. Of course you can. There was nothing, entirely 18 plus about it. So getting into the build itself, first thing I want to call out is the micro build Star Destroyers, these kind of advent calendar size. These are cool. They're fine. They really just, I think they exist to provide scale more than anything. Kind of like the way that the Executor is introduced in Empire. You see the Star Destroyers are all being overwhelmed with the shadow of this, even bigger ship. So, for scale wise, we know how big a Star Destroyer is. Well, this is, the SSD is that much bigger. I think it's a cool thing that they added on. My only complaint, and this is a minor one, is this little guy back here is just right in the way of these engines. And you can see all of my X-Wing fans or TIE Fighter fans remember that if you fly too close to the engines of a capital ship, that you'll get hit with the engine wash. So this guy is right in the way of those engines there and probably be getting blasted by the Executor engines. I would say if I were to build this, I would have moved it forward a little bit, but if you look at it from the front, you can see that they're pitched differently. So I think that's the reason why it's so close to the engine. So you could have one kind of more vertical in the front is a little higher than this one in the back. So very minor thing. you can't really, it doesn't take away from the build at all. It's just, it's just a thing I noticed. So, perfect time to talk about this Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary. This is printed on, which is awesome. It's not a sticker. Same thing with the Executor label. I hate the stickers. We all hate the stickers. All my homies hate the stickers. I'm so glad that they're going to printed pieces now for that. Just looks so much better. But this guy, unless I built it wrong, and I don't think I did, it just hangs out here. This is all plates, so there's nowhere for this to attach. It just is sitting there. So I don't know, does anybody, let me know in the comments, did I miss a step, or is this supposed to just be kind of hanging out here? So I guess the benefit is you can just get rid of it if you don't want it. The stand itself is quite nice. It's all plates. Looks like a UCS stand. It's not too in the way. It's not too overdone. There's a little bit of, those vent pieces here for some texture, but otherwise it's just kind of, it's just a stand, which is great. That's what I look for in this. I don't need something fancy. I don't really like a big gaudy stand. So talking about the superstructure, I love what they did with the greebling here. They did a great job of having it just be random throughout. It's asymmetric in a few places, you'll notice. I love that about it, that it's not just the same, symmetry down the side or down the middle there. There's a little variations, and they did a great job of just having the right amount of randomness to that kind of cityscape part. I also want to call out the smooth section here. Great job on that. I love the distribution of tiles to just a few random studs. Also asymmetric. You'll notice here and here, it's a little different. Really good job of having it look that balance of kind of sleek looking smooth superstructure with just some random knobs sticking out. You'll notice from the images that that's what the real thing looks like. We've got this busy random greebling in the cityscape part, and then the sloping parts being really smooth with just some random nips and knobs. Now, talking about the front while we're here, it's a little wonky. This is kind of the only angle that looks bad on it. It's always been a problem with Star Destroyers to get that tip right. I think they did the best they could. All of the Star Destroyers builds have this kind of trench down the front that it's really hard to get accurately. I showed in the build how they approached the kind of slope here. I think they did a great job of making that look cohesive all the way down. I think, honestly, like one of the best Star Destroyers that we've had, honestly. The mid-trench, the kind of belt line here looks great. You'll notice there's this trans blue pieces throughout, and they're also on the inside, just kind of randomly. You can see a couple on the front there. That's, it's reminiscent of the Star Destroyer, of having kind of blue lights shining through. I really like the way they did that. There's a lot that you can't even see here very well. They're under these vent pieces. There's one here, just kind of randomly dotted throughout in the build. Even some in the back. So they did a great job. Maybe you can't even see that. So while we're here, let's talk about the engines. The engines look okay. They seem a little small to me, and you can see what they did with the pieces, that there are a variety of these kind of cone shapes and then those inverted cones, just to make them look a little different from one another. You'll see from the photo that each engine is a little different from the one next to it. So they did their best to kind of imply that, but I would say it's not quite there. I would have gone a little bit bigger and maybe gone different with the spacing of them. While we're talking about the underside, there's really nothing to write home about here. I wish there was a little more variety in here. They did their best, and there is an actual design going on in the bottom of the Executor, so I would have liked them to at least do a little bit of justice to that by having something going on down here. I do like the way these engines kind of flare out, and the way they hang on the bottom of the vessel. It's okay. So that kind of leads us to talking about the scale of it. It's good, not great. when you look at it like this, it looks so nice and balanced. But when I look at photos of the Executor, it seems like it's at both points a little wider and a little narrower. So I don't know if it's just an overall scale or size issue with the studs, but every image I see of the Super Star Destroyer looks either longer or wider or both. And I don't know what the reason for that is. I don't know really how you would solve that either. But it's kind of something, I think for this price point and this size, I wouldn't want it any bigger. But also, it does seem like the scale is a little bit off. Of course, what everybody says with these is, should there be a minifig with this? I think it's fine without. I would love a Darth Vader and an Admiral Piet minifig. I think those would look awesome on this set. I don't think it needs it necessarily. This isn't a UCS set. It's not that kind of vibe, but if they did offer it, that would be great. It would be a welcome addition. And I would say, if you wanted to, this is $70. If this was $85 or $100 and it came with 2 minifigs, I would still think that's reasonable. I would say $100 for this build and 2 minifigs would have been awesome. They wouldn't have to be exclusive. They could be the classic arm printing Darth Vader that we've seen a couple times. It could be the one from Kenobi with the red eyes. It doesn't matter. That would kind of put this over the edge for me of being like from great to an awesome set. But again, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's fine that it comes without. The one issue I have with the Greebling here is these 2 inverted pieces. I don't know why they put them there. They're on a hinge. It's not supposed to move. But you'll notice there's an ingot piece, and I don't know why they chose to go with this. If you take it off, honestly, like this doesn't even look that bad with it completely off. I don't know why they put this the way they did. You just take it off entirely, it looks fine. This almost looks better, I think. I assume it's just to kind of cover up. You can see the bounty hunter studs on the inside, and just it's revealing too much of the inside, I guess. I don't know if I agree with that. It really throws me. It really kind of takes me out of the design, like the design language that they have going on here, when suddenly we go to 2 inverted tiles. What do you think? Does that bother you? It really stands out to me when I look at this. Even when I just kind of look at the entire thing, I see those 2 studs. So what do you think? Overall, final thoughts. I think this is an incredible set for the price, the value of what you get, what I mentioned before about this is an 18+ set. This is a display set. I think the display ability is awesome. I think this looks great on a desk. Great for adults, great for kids. It does have some swooshability. If you wanted, you could pick it up and play with it. That's very solid. It's not going to fall apart on you. It's completely just one piece. Really don't have to worry about any of those parts falling off. So absolutely, this is 100% a buy for me. At $70, I think this is a great value. Awesome set, really fun to put together, and I really hope to see more of these MIDI scale, not microfighters, not huge UCS, not playsets, just this kind of size, this price point. I would love to see more ships like that, especially from the OT, but let's get into some prequel trilogy stuff as well. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you going to buy this? Have you bought it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What would you like to see reviewed on the channel next? If you're new, like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.